Big LEZ'S League, an all rugby league experience. Hello, welcome back to Big LEZ'S League, an all rugby league experience. I'm your host, Big Les. This is your Origin 2 preview. We are going to get stuck into all of the big points, all the big talking points going into Game 2. Our predictions, man of the match. We didn't do man of the match last time in our multi, but we are going to include it in this one. All this Origin chat, it is coming to you from Big LEZ'S League, so subscribe and become a part of the Big LEZ'S League community. Obviously on the YouTube, Spotify, Apple, so get stuck in to all of that great content. Subscribe to them all. Instagram, Big LEZ'S League _ get stuck in. But we're going to, as I said, talk about all the big talking points here going into Origin 2. So let's kick it off with New South Wales. I guess the big one, obviously with the changes here, is Stefano. He's coming into this side. That's going to be a big in for the New South Wales Blues in regards to, mixing up their forward rotation. It's obviously a very different forward to Mitch Barnett. How does that work with the forward rotation? With Stefano, is there a chance that he starts? I think there is. With King and the role that he played off the bench, I almost think it was perfect. He came on, he played big minutes, but the impact that he had coming off the bench, there was one. So having Stefano coming off the bench, I just don't know if we're going to get the same level of impact as we would with Max King in that particular role that he was playing. Stefano is a great starter. He starts games really well. I think there is a real chance that before kickoff there is a change. Stefano does go into the starting side with Payne Haas, and Max King comes off the bench and plays the exact same role as he did in Game 1. There's not too much reason to change that rotation. Otherwise, I could see Stefano taking that Max King role. Max King might get a few reduced minutes, and we see Stefano play some big minutes off the bench. But we'll have to obviously wait and see. Stefano with his role, as I said, he is a different forward to Mitch Barnett, who's obviously out with an ACL. Where does he come into the game? When does he come into the game? For me, is going to be the big one. And how long does he play? Does he have an impact off the bench? I just visually, when you look at Max King and what he did in Game 1, the impact that he had when he came on the field, the ability to play those big minutes, I think that you'd probably rather start Stefano, let him bash out the first 20, and then bring a Max King, a raging Max King off the bench. I think that would work a lot better. But look, obviously, trust in Laurie Daly. They won Game 1. Let's see what we can do in Game 2. I guess the next big point is Jarome Luai coming into this side. We sort of reacted to it on the podcast a little bit late, but just talking about it, I guess, in depth here, you obviously get Jarome Luai, who wasn't in Game 1, has been in the squad for the past 5 days. But that connection with Nathan Cleary is never going to go away. These two have played with each other since they were 15 years old. They have that connection. They have a 4-time premiership winning connection. It is something that you just cannot erase. Him coming into this side, playing with Nathan Cleary, them getting that combo back and just finding their feet again with that combination, I think is going to be great. The storyline around it as well. Luai coming in for the injured Moses, reconnecting that combination that was broken up when Jarome Luai went over to the Tigers. It's great, and I love the theatre of it. I think that Jarome Luai as well, he's a big game player. He is an Origin player. He was a big part as to why we won last year's series as well. Moses was fantastic. So is Jarome Luai. Had some massive moments last year in Origin. He comes in, he's going to have those big moments again. But I also think, Mitch Moses, in the last one, he did sort of sit back a little bit and let Cleary run the side. I think that it's going to be a very different sort of style of play with these two. I think Jarome Luai is going to take a lot of pressure off Nathan Cleary. He's going to open up Nathan Cleary quite a bit. I think that they're going to alternate between first and second receiver like we saw at Penrith. And we're going to see that combination really start firing. And, especially going into a Perth game. New South Wales have never lost a Perth game yet to Queensland. I think that these two are going to come in firing on all cylinders and try and, end this one relatively early. I think that this is going to be a strong start from New South Wales, and it's going to be off the back of the forwards. But Jarome Luai and Nathan Cleary are going to play off the back of that momentum, and they're going to look really, really solid. I am very excited to see this combo rejoin. Knowing each other inside and out, I think that you couldn't get a better replacement for the injured Mitchell Moses. So Jarome Luai coming in, it's a massive positive for New South Wales. I can't wait to see it. As I said, the big moment player, Jarome Luai. Cleary, I think that with Luai coming in and freeing him up, as I said, taking a little bit of pressure off him, allowing him to play his footy in a different way to Mitchell Moses. Moses was sort of standoffish, whereas Luai is going to take the pressure off Cleary in different ways. He's going to come in, take some opportunities, run his sets down the left-hand side of the field. And Nathan Cleary is going to play off the back of that as well with his shape going down the right and obviously roaming both sides of the ruck. But Cleary, I think, is going to be freed up enough for the man in the match performance. I think, giving it away a little bit early before the bets come out. I think that Cleary will be your man in the match. I think that going to Perth, great record in Perth. Luai coming back into the side, these two rejoining. I think that Cleary's going to have his best Origin performance that we've ever seen him have. He's had some great Origin games, but this is the one that the fans have been waiting for me. I think that Cleary's going to come in. He's going to have a huge game. He was great in game one, other than the goal kicking and the in-play kicking a little bit. He was outstanding in game one. I think that he is going to go to that next level here. The kicking's going to be fixed. He's going to come out with a bit of confidence. And I think Cleary's going to have that man of the match performance, and then that I guess narrative of, what's stopping him from being one of the better players that we've seen, that's pretty much going to be ticked off the list. The Origin performance, I think we're going to see it in this game. If we don't see it in this one, I think we see it at some stage in this series, maybe even in a Game 3 decider or in the sweep. But yeah, Cleary, I think, is in for a massive game here with Luai coming back in. As I said, Luai's going to free him up. He's going to have a really strong game, Nathan Cleary. The kicking's going to be fixed up for me, and he's going to come in with some real confidence as well, playing alongside his maestro, his Robin in Jerome Luai. I think you've just got to stick to the same game plan here for New South Wales. It is just going to be winning the middle, winning the ruck, and I'm playing off the back of that momentum like they did so well in game one, and just keeping that dominance, keeping the foot on the throat, do everything better than Queensland. That's going to be the key for New South Wales in this one. Do exactly what you did in game one, replicate that same plan, and defend your asses off, because we know that Queensland are going to be coming out strong in this one. And that obviously is a great segue into Queensland as well. Obviously, as I said, they're going to be coming out strong into this one. There is no doubt about it. They're going to be coming out with a bit of fire in the belly, that they are going to smash New South Wales. And they're going to want to do it, obviously, with a different looking side as well. There's obviously a lot of question marks about the forward rotation and what that's going to look like. It doesn't really matter for me. No matter what Queensland side you get, they're going to be disappointed with game one and how dominant New South Wales were in that one. They're going to really start strong through the middle. That's going to be off the back of Mo. That's going to be back off the back of Tino. Trent Liero as well. He's going to have to really stand up in this one through the middle and prove a lot of naysayers wrong. Because there's a lot of people coming out and saying, what impact does Trent Liero really have in this side? Well, he's in the starting side now. He's going to start the game. He's going to be that link man there at 13. I want to see him prove a lot of the naysayers wrong and have a big performance for Queensland as a general fan of rugby league. Yeah, look, I mean, it's going to be a real tough one for Queensland, just starting with that same aggression as New South Wales. If New South Wales do get a roll on early, I think it's going to be lights out. I think we're going to see a big win from New South Wales. If Queensland do not start the game, literally the first 10 minutes, with the same intensity as New South Wales, as I said, it's going to come off the back of the forward rotation. So off the back of that, are we going to see any changes here for Queensland? We did say it when we did the reaction to these squads. We did say that we thought there were going to be a few changes. Obviously, the big one for me, I think that Paddy Carrigan has to start, whether that be in the front row, whether it be in the lock forward position. I think that he has to start. I think that he will replace Mo Fodawaker. He'll go into the starting side there. Mo will come off the bench. He'll have a little bit more impact. Just a genuine middle coming on and going absolutely crazy. I think you're going to get the best out of Mo in that role. I just don't rate him as a starter in Origin. Paddy Carrigan, he starts games really well. He plays big minutes. He's that alpha there. So I'd be moving Paddy Carrigan into the front row, simplifying his role, just getting him to run the footy, have that aggression in defence like we know he can. Trent Liero can still be that link man, and you move Mo Fodawaker off the bench as that genuine impact man. I also think that Jeremiah Nanai starts. I think that he'll start, but he'll start on the left edge back row. I think that Cotter does move over to the right side regardless. Capewell will come off the bench for me. How much impact is Kurt Capewell going to have off the bench? I'm not too sure. Would I even be playing Kurt Capewell in this game? Probably not. I think that there is a real chance we see a Jack Howarth or a Corey Horsburgh come into this game. I probably would make that change as well. I think this is a little bit of mind games. It could not be as well. We know how much Billy Slater loves Kurt Capewell. We might be overthinking it a little bit here as well. But I just have a feeling that there is going to be a lot of changes in this pack. I think that Kurt Capewell is one of them. I think he goes to the bench. He'll come on in a bit of a roaming middle capacity, or he'll come on for Nanai in that left edge back row position. He might even come on for Cotter, and then Cotter goes into the middle as well with that leg speed. We'll have to wait and see. But I do think that Nanai starts, and I think that Nanai needs to play the full game. On that left edge back row, he was probably the best player for Queensland, even though he was playing on the right in that one, and there were a few defensive mishaps from him. I thought that a lot of big moments and a lot of momentum shifted to Queensland off the back of absolute massive moments from Jeremiah Nanai. So I think he needs to start, and I think he needs to play the full 80. I know that Billy Slater wants that impact off the bench. I think you get that with Collins. I think that you get that with Mo. Moving Carrigan into the middle of the field, he's going to start and end the game the same way for me. So that's what I would be doing. And then Capewell, whether you want him in that jersey 17, whether you want a Jack Howarth, whether you want a Corey Horsburgh, whether you even want an Ezra Mam just to come on and go absolutely skits through the middle like Tom did in game one. We'll have to wait and see. But I don't think I think there's a slight chance we see a change there. But again, Billy Slater, he loves Kurt Capewell. He loves the impact that he has. So we might see him stay in this side, but I think that it could be off the bench. I think, as I said, we do see a lot of changes here for Queensland. Now, I sort of looked at the Holmes and Hamiso Tabuai-Fidow switching, and I thought there's going to be a change here. We'll see Val go back to the wing. We'll see Hammer go back into the centres. But the more I've sort of sat and thought about it, the more I've actually changed my mind on it. I think that Val... he's a big body, he's a good runner, and he sets up people for tries really, really well. I think that Val is a good centre. Defensively, obviously, there are a few concerns there. But I think as well, like Hamiso Tabuai-Fidow, obviously having that experience at fullback, can rotate with Ponga a little bit as well there at the back. His kick returns will be really good as well. I think that his kick returns could be better than Val Holmes, to be honest. I think that he'll just have that speed and X factor as well, especially if it's a long kick. He'll be able to get the ball at least back to the 30, maybe even a little bit further on those last tackle kicks, depending on where New South Wales sit on last tackle. I think that, Hamiso Tabuai-Fidow, he just has that speed coming back with the ball in hand. I actually think it's a good change, and I think that you'll probably see this stay the same by kickoff as well. I think that Val will move into the centres. I think Hamiso Tabuai-Fidow will stay onto the wing. Now, Dearden in the 7, obviously is the big change here. They've left DCE out. It is a massive, massive call for Queensland to make. I think that you will see them play a very similar game to game one. They were obviously a little bit melancholy in some of their sets, just going through the processes a little bit. Obviously without I guess, since New South Wales was so dominant through the middle, that they were struggling to find that momentum to obviously have big plays and big moments. They were relying on their edges, which wasn't really working for them either. I think that with Dearden and Munster, that game plan of going to the edges on tackle 3 and 4, I don't think that's how they're going to start the game. I think they are going to start the game with a bit of intensity through the middle, but I think that they will get back to that game plan, and I think Dearden suits it to a T, just getting the ball out to the edges. Dearden can create space and opportunity there. Whether Dearden plays left or right side is going to be very interesting. Obviously, Dearden is a left edge specialist. Does it move Munster over to the right side? Maybe. Wouldn't shock me if that was the case. But then again, I don't think it really matters in State of Origin. I think both of these guys are really going to be roaming both sides of the ruck and just creating absolute havoc as well. So keen to see what it looks like, but I think it will work with the game plan that Queensland want to play, which is getting the ball out to the edges and just going absolutely ham on the attacking front. And KP is going to be a big part of that as well. I thought he had a pretty decent game one, obviously running 160 odd metres, getting heavily involved, plenty of touches. I think he was another guy that was pretty unlucky to them not having the direction they probably would have wanted in this one, but also not having the momentum they probably would have wanted for him to really come into the game. I think that if they do get a bit more momentum here through the middle, which I think they might, obviously coming out with a little bit more intensity and a want to win, especially a side coming into this game with no wins in Perth, getting absolutely dominated in game one. I think that KP is going to go absolutely skits here if they do give him any chances, and that's going to be very reliant, again, on the middles here for Queensland. They need to have a really, really strong start. And then finally, Harry Grant. I think that obviously there's a lot of chat around him. Should he start? Should he come off the bench? I think that with Kurt Mann there, you can afford to have Kurt Mann on at the 9 position for the first 20-odd minutes, just going ham. Defensively very strong. He'll give you pretty decent service. And then Harry Grant comes on and adds that spark around tired forwards, creating havoc around the ruck. I think that that's where Harry Grant thrives in the Origin arena, and I think you can afford to do it. So maybe that is also a change that we see here for Queensland. Harry Grant goes to the bench. Kurt Mann starts at 9. I wouldn't be shocked if that's what we see, and then Kurt Mann can maybe move into a lock forward position and play that link man role for a Trent Liero, depending on how they go through the middle. Kurt Mann's a real good defender as well. He can come out of the line and put shots on. I think that you can afford to have him at lock there as well, even though the size difference is going to be a factor for sure. I think that Kurt Mann is a guy that will handle himself well in that lock forward position. So maybe that's how you start the game. Kurt Mann playing the first 20 minutes at 9. Harry Grant comes on after that and plays the rest of the game in the 9 position around tired forwards to start, with Kurt Mann moving into the lock forward position. Wouldn't shock me in the slightest. But as I said, it is obviously a discussion point. Harry Grant hasn't won a game starting at 9 in Origin. Could we see a change here, or is Billy Slater just going to back Harry Grant in? Fuck the stats. It's Origin. He's going to come out and do a job. We'll have to wait and see. Now let's get stuck into our predictions. What we think is going to happen in this one. Which way are we going in this game? I am going to go the way of New South Wales. I think they get the job done. I really do. I think that with how dominant they were in game 1, I think they're going to keep that in game 2. I think the big thing for New South Wales is to not come into this game too cocky. Yes, they've won all of the games in Perth against Queensland. Yes, at the moment, they've got a bit of a record over Queensland as well. Yes, each of the last 7 Origin matches have been won by the favourites. Origin 2 matches in particular have been won by the favourites. There's a lot of stats leaning the way of New South Wales. I just think that they can't come into this game too cocky. Queensland are going to come out firing. They've got to be ready for that, and they've got to be ready to respond to that as well. And I'm sure that that's the professionalism and the way that Laurie's drilling them into this game. They've got to come out knowing that Queensland are going to be firing, knowing that Queensland are going to be switched on in this one, and I think that they will be. Blues to win for me. If they can keep that level of dominance through the middle, they get the job done. Toto and Dearden, anytime try scorers. I think that Dearden's going to stand up his first game in the 7. I think he could even be a smoky for first try scorer, but I'm just going to take him any time here. He's got good odds at any time, I believe, as well. I jumped on him. We're recording this on the Monday. He's at 570. He's never scored in Origin. I think that it's great value there. I think that, as I said, he's going to stand up in the number 7 jersey. If he's not going to score one, he's definitely going to set up a few, but I think with his running game, he could catch the Blues off guard if they come into this game a little bit cocky to start. So give me Dearden to score anytime, along with Brian Toto, who is just a shoo-in for me next to Latrell. He's going to create a lot of open space for Brian Toto. So Toto into Tom Dearden with the Blues to win head-to-head. And my man of the match, Nathan Cleary. Nathan Cleary is the favourite for man of the match, 2 at 550. You're getting $46 for that multi. New South Wales head-to-head, Tom Dearden and Toto anytime try scorers. Cleary man of the match, $46. But make sure to gamble responsibly. For free and confidential support, call 1-800-858-858. Visit gamblinghelponline.org.au. That is your Origin preview, guys. Make sure to go ahead and subscribe, become a part of the big LEZ'S League community. Plenty of content coming out throughout the Origin period, and plenty of content like Breaking Bread. The drawing board will return to YouTube as well very soon. Our Supercoach show. Breaking Bread is our show with myself and Isaac Issa. Most of the time, it is actually just Isaac Issa going through all of the news. He's a Journo 4-0 tackle. He's very plugged into all the news around the NRL. He goes through the big stats that no one's talking about, the big news stories, I should say, that no one's talking about. So make sure to go ahead and get stuck in to all of that great content. Subscribe to the YouTube. Follow the Instagram as well, Big LEZ'S League _. Become a part of the Big LEZ'S League community. We will see you guys in the next one. You win some, you lose more. For free and confidential support, call the gambling helpline at 1-800-858-858.